Eh, 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 eh. I'm also just one of those people who's very happy about the curfew being lifted. Ask me why. I don't leave the house. Ask me why. I don't have any biasharas that run at night. But no, I am happy. Either way, mimi sipendi kukatazwa vitu hata kama sizitumii, okay? Welcome to another episode of In All Honesty. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao, and today we are discussing something, What I've been debating about this episode is whether to mention the names of these places that I worked at. But I'm basically, because I didn't know how to structure this episode, I'm just going to go through the places I worked at, the toxicity, the toxic experience I went through, and what lessons I might have gotten from those places. Some I didn't even walk out with lessons, some as... Anywho, that's what I'll be talking about today. But let me start with some shout outs. I want to shout out a girl called Agnes Koi. Oh, that girl is an amazing marketer. The first time I met her was the first time I was meeting someone who's my age, who knows marketing. I used to think marketing is like things that are over and above this world. Like uleni Coca-Cola, marketing person, uleni PRO or Safari. Like it was... Marketing to me was huge, so I didn't think that there would be someone my age who is in marketing and knows marketing. So Agnes Koi, hit her up for all your gigs for marketing, and she knows the entire spectrum, traditional marketing all the way to digital marketing, CSR, PR, yani humstena kuna kitu yenye hajui. And in that very same circle, through Agi, I met some other awesome people that I just want to shout out on this podcast. One was called Eunice Mukeli, my awesome person. By the time I was meeting this girl, she was actually a camera person for live sports. I don't know if you get it, but to date it's still fascinating for me. Like the way I watch sports, I had never thought about watching sports and not missing a moment until I met her and I realized, wait, there is someone behind the camera who makes sure you don't miss a particular event at a particular time while on the field. Wow. Yeah. So Agnes, sorry, that's Eunice Mukeli. And I also met another girl called Kare. Kare is Leila Kare. So Kare was a chef. Okay, still does. Only that now she's not like a chef in those big restaurants that she used to be a chef at. Right now she does her own little thing, and you need to hit her up for all you have a party, you have a family gathering, you just want food to be prepared for you for like your week, your 2 weeks. Hit her up. She's like amazing with her job. So Kare was a chef. I also never thought chefs would be my age. I don't know, me, I think all these careers I thought were people who are like in their 45 and above and are like, I don't know. Anywho, this is an amazing group of people that I met in that particular time of my life, and I just wanted to shout them out before we begin this episode, and let us get to it now. Okay, so if you know me, if you don't, well, now you're going to know me. I've worked in several places. So people ask me, how do you know so many things that are related to work, corporate? And it's because I've worked in so many places. People ask me, how old are you? I am 29. How many places have you worked? Probably over 8 places. How is that possible? Were you like moving? What did you start? So here's the thing. I started working when I was very young. At 13, I was working. At 18, I was working. But I'm going to start with the experiences that I remember very vividly, about those ones that impacted lessons in my life, because most of them is after you've left now campus. No one is paying the rent. Earlier on, if you were looking for money, you were looking for your own money, pocket money, to do other things. But now you're the one who's supposed to pay the rent and the bills. And this is where lessons started to hit me hard. So I'll just go through a list of places that I've worked, and I wrote them down because my memory is horrible, but this is to help me remember. But I remember the experiences. I could forget the places I worked at different times, but I specifically remember the experiences. So the first place I remember, when I went to do my internship, was it an internship attachment? I don't know the difference. This was at a place called CDC in Kisumu. This place was hella toxic. I have never ever again in my life being in a company where a whole family works in the same department. In a family business and employment, guys, baba mama watoto na yani, it was just madness. Yeah, but the place was super toxic. So here, I'm a very regular person. Let's start with that. My background is that I'm very regular. Like, you will never meet me and think this is an exotic person that, I'm very regular, always in jeans, in tees. I've always had either dreadlocks or an afro. Like, I'm never over the moon, okay? So when I joined this place, I don't know why there were two women who just had it out for me. They hated me completely, and I honestly do not know why. I can't even say they were earning more than me because I wasn't getting paid for my internship. And I realized that place is so toxic that you can't be the kind of person to speak up your mind, because the day I actually spoke up my mind and told my boss, no, I cannot report to this office because there was something I was finishing up in that other office, that's the day I got fired. So yes, guys, I did get fired from my internship. You're not even getting paid and you're getting fired. Anyway, so let's get to these two women. These two women hated me with a passion, and I don't know why. We don't work in the same department. They are pretty. I remember looking at them and thinking, if I get old, I want to look like that. Like, I still want to have it. They were really pretty. They had the big cars. They had the big jobs. They had the big bags. Like, these women were everything you'd ever want, they had. I do not see why they just did not like me. I've literally done nothing to them. And the day when I was actually fired, I was told, I don't know whether it's true, I was told that one of them literally was dancing like, Amanda. And I do not honestly know what I did to these women. So later on, I came to understand that you could go to places where your only mistake is just being young, or your only mistake is just being new. That is the only thing. So don't try and beat yourself up thinking, what did I do wrong? Is there something no one is telling me? Please understand that humans are shitty, and you could be in places where people just hate you for it's their own insecurities, and they decide to project it on you, and it has nothing to do with you. So that's a lesson I learned when I was pretty young. I had not finished school yet. That was just my attachment, but now I know. The second place I worked, this was a really cool place because it was just me and my boss and our new department. So we were putting that up. They didn't have a communications department. And that was a really cool place. But now here was the hassle. My boss was male. And so people would, hey, wamama, munakuaga busy. So the women in the office sometimes would make sure we are always watched. So sometimes even like someone would carry their laptop and come and work in our office because my boss and I could be doing something there. Okay, guys, okay. And then there's this time, I don't think there's lessons I learned there because I didn't stay there for long. There's this time when I got to the office, and my boss comes after me because I think he had to go through somewhere else, and he tells me, I couldn't wait to get here and see what you've won, because I was texted so early in the morning that you are literally walking naked in the office. Guys, I was wearing a knee-high skirt, like literally. It was on right at my knee. I didn't know. Apparently there was something about people dressing in short skirts that wasn't allowed in that company. But anyway, Missy Jui, sasa hiyo hapo ni umbea tu. The places you'll go kutakuwa tu na umbea. And then there's a place I worked. Now this was the first time me experiencing media like this. This was a radio also in Kisumu, and like my kazi yangu kwa safi. So if I get into rooms, I get opportunities because I am able to express what I can do for you, and I do my job well. So I got an opportunity to work with this radio. It's something I'd wanted for so long in my life, and I was really lucky and happy to have had the opportunity. But then here I realized there was a lot of things that were going on that just didn't make sense. So first of all, There's this guy who tried to sabotage me. He was actually my immediate supervisor, the content producer, and he tried to sabotage me so many times. And this guy was threatened by me, and he had like 10 years experience in the industry before I got to that place. I got in as an intern. I don't know why he felt threatened by me. And so this guy tried to frustrate me so many times. There's a time he actually went to the CEO and told the CEO that I've been sleeping around with people to try and maneuver my way up. And I'm just like, if I needed to sleep with anybody in the company, then I'd be sleeping with the CEO. I mean, that only makes sense, right? So he tried to sabotage me so much, but he didn't succeed because my work is clean. Kazi yangu kwa safi, guys. That I pride myself in. But sasa, this guy started katiaing me. I think that was now the plan B. And it was just crazy. He was so disgusting. Can you imagine someone who has tried to sabotage you and then now they try and tell you actually they were doing all those things because they liked you? Nonsense. By the time I'm editing this video, if I will have decided to blast your name here, I'll just write it here. That was some fucked up shit. Anyway, also this place is where I met people who give you empty promises. So we were in Kisumu and it was like the first urban field radio, So there's this guy who came from Kisumu, big time presenter. Yeah, he's been in radio all his life. This is someone I had on radio when I was going to primary school. So uyu ni mtu Gina si Gina. So he came, got a job in that radio, and he was very misguiding, very, very misguiding. And I don't mean in a personal way, because at the time, you're very anxious, you like to learn, you're very young, you don't know things. And he'd be like, I want to give you this opportunity and I want to give it to you now, but there are things you have to do. And those things involved like me transferring, either leaving school or transferring my credits from the main campus to the town campus so that I can work in the radio full time. And he was like, you need to do that like tomorrow, do it now. I don't know what held me back. I don't know why it took me time to either quit school or transfer. But then at the end of the day, when he told me that, the next time he wasn't even with the radio. He had left. He'd gone to I think another gig. And I was just thinking, oh my holy shit. What if I had actually quit school? What if I had actually gone through the entire process and started transferring my credits? Oh my goodness, I can't even think about it. So I realized that there are people who will misguide you, and the media is horrible. The media is just one big bedroom. Oh my goodness. Media, I don't know if it's the media everywhere else, but the media in Kenya is bottom of the barrel trash. And that was my experience there. So I learned that there are people who will try to sabotage you. And that was my first experience with men who are just like trash. Yeah, that was me experiencing men as trash. Literally. And then I'm trying to remember where else I worked after that. Oh, then that then I finished school. I actually got a sales gig before I finished school. So hapa ndipo nilipojionea. Okay, so when I went in for the interview, I went for the interview at industrial area. I went through the processes. So I came back to Eldoret, was assigned a store. So you are like the sales brand ambassador person for a particular brand, and then you're stationed in a particular store. So this store is a big time ass brand. You know it. You use it every day. So we are stationed in this store. Now this store was hella toxic. If you want to believe that how toxic that place was, I weighed the lowest in my life since I ever knew my weight. Because when I was in class 7, class 8, I think I went to the hospital and I was weighed, and the doctor said I'm obese because I was weighing 50 something, I think 53 at the point. And from that time on, I remember weighing myself all through my life, and I had never been below 50. But at that time when I worked in that place, that big company, I was by the time I left, I was weighing, I think 47, 48 kgs, which was alarming for me. Normally, my cheeks don't sink in because I'm really a buju. So my cheeks don't sink in. You will rarely ever see my collarbone, but all those things were visible when I was working in this place. So I knew it was toxic. I knew I had to leave. Now, what are some of the things that were happening in this place? This place had it all. Now, we were 3 young girls. I think we were 23. So naturally we gravitated towards each other and became friends because we were I think the youngest, and also like earning the least. I mean, our salaries were between 15,000-20,000, and then like you work for your commissions. So in this company, a lot of people would judge us by, you guys are young, what are you using your money for? So a lot of people would ask us for loans. And these people now are permanently employed by the company. They're not salespeople like us. They're permanently employed by the company. So they're earning 5 times what we are earning. So we didn't understand what that was. And then there was this time also a rumor started going around the office. So every day if you wake up, every day I'd wake up and report to work, there was a rumor running around. So one day we wake up and apparently a memo has been sent around the office for people to take care of their husbands, because the ladies, the 3 of us now, are sponsor people, and we are timing people's husbands, and we take people's husbands from them and use the money that they've worked so hard to build with their husbands. So that was also a rumor that was running around the office. So everyone was like, hey, what were sponsors? And this was so bad that during payday, sometimes we'd buy chicken and chips and go eat at the lounge, the office lounge. And it was a whole, like, people would call each other to see us eat chicken and chips. Chicken and chips is 250 fucking bob in Eldoret. Why the hell is it such a big deal? And people would make remarks. People would be like, sasa nani anaongezwa damu kwa hospitali leo? Can you imagine? Because of chicken and chips. Chicken and chips. I'm earning 15,000. My salary, my rent is 5k. I could spare 250 to eat chicken and chips. Please. Hey, we saw for ourselves. Now, I think where the last straw was this day when I walked into the office and there was a whole rumor that apparently I'm lesbian. Yeah, so you walk into an office and there's a rumor about you being gay. I don't care. You can accuse me of anything you want. Being gay is not a crime. You do you, boo. So, apparently, the previous night, I was at home doing my own thing, sleeping, what people do at night. So apparently previously, gosh, that's so much apparent. The previous night, people were at a club. I think someone was at a club and saw a girl with dreadlocks kissing another girl who's light skinned, maybe, I don't know. But when we walked into the office in the morning, I guess I'm the only girl with dreadlocks in the whole of Eldoret. I wouldn't know. So the girl with dreadlocks was seen kissing a light skinned girl, and therefore it was Olive and her friend. Now my friend who we were friends with in the place of work. So the rumor went round, Olive and Nani are sleeping together. And it became, you know, when it's a rumor, it's fine. When it's just a rumor, it's fine. But when now you get those remarks in everything you do. Like, I'd take papers from this desk, I'm taking to someone and I'm like, can you sign this for us? And maybe someone says, hey Olive, how are you doing? The person next to them would remark, wachana na huyo, that one does girls. Imagine, like, it was just crazy. Like, how are these papers related to me doing girls? And why is what I do outside work part of a whole, like, it was, I don't know, maybe these people lacked juicy things in their lives and therefore they needed to come up with things to do during work. It was crazy. So this rumor went around, but I think where I just lost hope in this place is because the supervisor, now the person in authority, had the rumor and did not act like the bigger person. Instead, this person started calling people to the office one by one, asking them about my sexuality and whether I've been sleeping with this girl in the office. This is the person in authority. Yeah, this is the decision maker in that company, calling people to the office. And then everyone was called to the office except me and that girl. Everyone was being called to the office to say their opinion or whatever it is about the rumor they've had about my sexuality. And I was just like, you know, all these other people, they're tiny, you know, these are stupid things. But you, as the person in authority, I expected a bit more from someone in authority. So I think that's where I just felt like, oh my goodness, this is trash. And some of the time we'd get comments like, so you guys, what are you using your money with? What are you using your money for? There are times, yeah, people with kids would come to us and tell us, hey, nyinyi shindeni tu hapo. Nakwambia senye sisi tutakuwa sijui tunajibamba watoto wetu ni wakubwa ndio nyinyi mnaanza kukimbia na manapkins. I'm just like, how is this relatable to anything we're doing in the office? So there was just so much. And then you were required to come in the morning, too early in the morning. You leave very late. You work Saturdays. Sometimes you work Sundays. Sometimes, and you're being told about sales so much. I remember there's a time we were told to come to Nairobi for training, and I refused to come because we were told we were not, because we weren't being given money. How do you expect me to use my salary to come to Nairobi, sleep in Nairobi? I don't know anyone in Nairobi with my money. As in, can you make it make sense? So me, when I said you must be offering per diems and take care of our logistics when you're coming to Nairobi, apparently mimi ni kichwa ngumu, okay? So there was a lot of stress going on there. That's why I was weighing the list. There was always a rumor you had to deal with. And at the age of, I think I was 23, it was just too much. So also, I quit that place. And as I said, it's a big company. When I quit, everyone would ask me, everyone who knew me was asking, how do you dare quit a job at such a prestigious company? You know. But me, I know the things I was going through. And I was just like, you know what, apana. And we were also thinking, you see, all these guys who were like spreading rumors and treating us the way they want to treat us, they were way older than us. So imagine if you're 23 and you're looking at someone who's 35 or 40, you're thinking they're very old. So you're also thinking, guy, ama mimi nikifika 30 nitaanza kubehave hivi. As in, isn't it tabia gani wazee wako nazo, you know? So yeah, that was a crazy place. And I realized there are places that will drain you and you will hold on because people outside think you're lucky. Because I remember that time a lot of people would tell me, you're complaining about where you work and your friends don't even have jobs. You know, we had just finished Campo, so people are tammacking, and you have this job, it's for sales, yes, but you're not happy, and everyone keeps reminding you how lucky you are and how dare you even dare complain. You should be grateful to God. So when something is not making you happy, that's the lesson I picked from there. When something is not making you happy, just let it go. There's no point of you having suicidal thoughts because of a place of work. There's no point of you dragging yourself out of bed. For me to wake up, I'd roll on the bed until I fall on the floor and then crawl to the bathroom. That's how, and then open the shower to fall on me, cold water to fall on me. That's how I need to wake up. So you can imagine, for me to get to that point in my life, just because of what, 20,000 Kenyan shillings. I imagine, no. And don't listen to what people have to say. Don't let that guilt tripping of your privilege stop acting, you know, entitled. When you feel like you're not happy, please walk away. Don't listen to what people have to tell you. Kama wanataka hiyo kazi waikujie, si ndio wakuje interview wafanye hiyo kazi. It's none of your business to stay lucky for people. The other place that I worked after that, so immediately after quitting that place, I moved to the city. I'll not explain my entire story of moving to the city, but when I moved to the city, by the time I got to the city, I only had 300 bob to my name. Mbele, nyuma, me, poverty. 300 shillings. And the person who had hamishad me had stolen my gas cooker, my gas cylinder. So now I have this 300 shillings. So what I do is because I need to like afford a meal a day, I'd get soda and mandazi. Like I get soda and mandazi. I don't know for how long that pushed me, because there was also like a writing gig I was doing that also brought in money. But also I had rent that I had paid with the money I got from the previous salary that I was paid at that big company. So that one is what I put in my deposit and rent. And now I need to work to pay this rent. Now, this is also a place where I met bottom of the barrel men. Imagine if you want sex from someone, just tell them you want to have sex with them. If you want to give someone a job, just tell them you want to give them a job. So here, when I started hustling in Nairobi, you know me, I thought that persistence will bring you the job. So you go to the first date, because that's how technically you meet clients. You go for a lunch date or something, and then they explain to you the company profile, and you customize something, take notes, and then you'll send it to them on email. But then these clients would never give me a job. Kila siku, can we meet for lunch? Can we meet for lunch? Me, I'm just like, let me be persistent, maybe that nini. And you know, at that point, you're also desperate. You're like, I need to be patient. Even this person is like giving you hints of something that is uncomfortable. You can't say it because you're waiting for that job to come so that you can earn money so you can pay your rent. So at that time, I didn't speak up. And I'm just being taken for lunches and lunches and lunches. And I'm like, when is this job ever gonna come? So I think at some point I just gave up. I got tired. I just said, no, if you want me to do this job for you, please just send an email. We can talk on email. The day you want to meet me, we can meet once, and then we can continue talking on email. You already know me, you have my information. Anyway, so during this time, there's also, you're also just trying to get opportunities everywhere. So there was this time someone called me from my previous big company and gave me a number to someone who was looking for, I don't know what position they were looking for, but they wanted someone and they thought I'd fit the opportunity. So I called this guy and we talked nicely, and he's like, okay, I have something for you. Call me tomorrow. That's exactly what that guy told me. So I called him tomorrow, and this guy was like, who are you? We talked yesterday. No, you must be delusional. I don't think so. Stop calling my phone. You're crazy. Why would I say I have a job that I don't have? Guys, I sat there in my house just questioning my sanity. So this person from the previous company is also pushing me. He's like, Ati, that guy is sometimes proud, just try and remind him. So I think the next time I was scared to call, I texted this guy. And we have a whole WhatsApp conversation of him telling me, Sijui, there's this new company that's coming up. He needs someone who needs to, who needs to supervise a particular region. He thinks I'll do the job. So that's all going on WhatsApp. And I tell him, we finish the chat with, okay, fine, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And tomorrow I call again, and this guy is just like, stop calling my number. I don't know you. What's wrong with you? Why are you? I don't give jobs, and I don't even know you. Why do you think I would give you a job when you don't even have experience? Like, he was very rude and very dismissive. So I gave up on this guy. I never called him again, and he pretended he didn't know who was calling him. And there's a chat on WhatsApp of me and him chatting about the opportunity. So I said, by the way, there's no need. What is mine is mine. It will come. So I forgot about that guy. So while I'm sending out my resume blindly to people, someone tipped me off and told me there's a company that I know, they could be looking for someone for social media. So I sent my resume to that company, and I was called in for an interview immediately. So when I went to that interview, there were so many red flags that I can see now that I didn't see then. So many red flags. So for one, guys, wacha tu nikwambie for free. Ukifika mahali, alafu unakuwa hired on the spot. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying question. Just think about it for a minute. But I'm not saying it's bad. Because have they interviewed people before you? Have they interviewed people after you? Like, what happens to the people who are prospects for that particular position, So I got hired on the spot. And then this interview had weird questions like, so what do your parents do? I thought it was very weird, but I went ahead and said my parents are retired, so they're just chilling in Eldoret and Kisumu. The other question that question then led to a follow-up. Then who are you? Where do you live in Nairobi? I was like, I live at Mountain View. And this lady went ahead to say, and you're taking care of your own rent? I was like, yeah, I just pay my own rent. And she was like, no, I don't think so. You look well cleaned up. It's like someone is taking care of you in Nairobi. And I was just like, no, it's just me. So that was some of the weird questions. And then I was asked, there's also another question I was asked in that interview that was really weird. Like, how much would you comfortably spend on a piece of cloth, like a dress? I don't know how that related to me being the social media manager. But I think I remember saying 4,000 Kenyan shillings because at the time, I don't know. I just thought 4,000 is fair to spend on a dress if I was to go all out on something. And maybe at that time I thought maybe if a friend of mine got married and they wanted me to be in their lineup, then I think the entire outfit would cost maybe 4,000. So I thought that was reasonable. So I said 4,000 Kenyan shillings, and then the person just went, Anyway, after that I was hired, and that place I lasted 10 days. 10 freaking days. If I decide to also mention the name of that place, I'll put it down here by the time I'm editing, but it was weird. So let me just give you a brief story of how that happened. So I introduced podcasts and a YouTube series for them. They didn't have that, so I introduced it, and they gave me the resources, someone to shoot, someone to edit, and I was co-hosting it with the person, like the CEO of the company. And so the episodes were supposed to go out every single day, and then there's this, was it the fourth episode, where we had shot the episode, but now the editor was busy. And when I went to the editor told me there's this big event we're working on. Even the boss knows, even the CEO knows. I'll go and explain to the CEO that there's this event we are doing, and so I don't have time to edit that. And I remember telling him, I've already cut these clips on my phone, but I'm unable to do what you can do with whatever the editing that is done, like putting the intro, the outro. They have an official one. So I was like, please just give me 2 minutes, you edit this for me while I'm standing here so that I can go and upload. And this guy was like, you have no idea, we are bumper to bumper, and this event is very important. If even the CEO knows, let me go and tell the CEO so that you don't get pressure for this. So I was like, okay, cool. So what I decided to do, because I can't post this new content because it's not been edited, I decided to edit the previous ones. I did like short clips and a teaser, and I put it up, and I was like, this will hold fort while I wait for the other episode to be edited. Guys, so I put it up. The next day the CEO comes in and asks me, did you put up a video? I say yes, but not the new video. I did a little teaser so that when the video is ready we just post it. So this is supposed to like build up to that new one. And I remember her saying okay, and then left the room. But for the next 3 days I wasn't being talked to. So this person comes into the office, greets everyone, looks at me, and leaves. At the corridor I'm just sized and passes by. So I didn't know what I had done, but I'm continuing to do my thing. I'm very oblivious of the environment around me. So basically I've always been, if I get the office, I put on my headphones and I start working. So on the third day I was called to the office with the graphics designer at the time. So the graphics designer was called to the office, and I was there also. And here's what happened. So the CEO was very apparently disgusted with me that she could not talk to me directly. So that's why the graphics designer was there. So the graphics designer was the medium. She tells him what to tell me, and then he tells me, and we're seated in the same room, so I can hear her telling him to tell me. So I was told a lot of things that didn't make sense. I was like, you're such a liar, why would you lie? I hate liars. My mother lied to me once, that's why I didn't talk to her secretly for 4 years. All these things I'm being told in that triangle too. So me, I didn't know what I had done, but at the time I was also very naive. So I just said, I apologized. I said, I'm sorry if there's any inconveniences that I've caused, but I didn't have any bad intentions. And yeah, just sorry, basically. And I was told, go home for 2 weeks. I was suspended for 2 weeks. I was told go home for 2 weeks to think about what I have done, and then I can come back in 2 weeks. She will have cooled down, and then we can continue working. So I went and packed my things. While I was packing my things, let me tell you why this entire place, I felt like they deserved each other. So you see the way this CEO was running this place, she gombanishes people like she's in her own house. Ni kama watoto wadogo. She starts screaming from and quarreling from the door all the way, and people scatter. And these are old people. These are like 35, 40-year-olds. They are scattering, and no one wants to meet her on the corridor. Yani, it was just madness. I was like, ini ofisi ama ni nyumba ya mtu. Anywho, so that day when I was packing, all these people have gone, and they're all at one person's cubicles. You know, it's one office, but you have like your own cubicles with computers. So I can see them in one person's cubicle, and all of them are whispering, looking at me, and then they look down and tell something to each other, and then look at me all at the same time. I'm just like, wow, hata kama ni kusengenyana, si mtu ujaribu kuficha. Anywho, me, I packed my things. While I was leaving at the corridor, the CEO was just like, I just need to confirm. So the CEO goes to the editor and asks the editor. So we walk into the editing room and ask the editor, why wasn't this Nini? Why wasn't this video edited? Why wasn't it put up? You know how important this is. The question was basically, why wasn't this video up? And we all know the editor said there was this event that was. So me, I'm like, see, the editor knows this event was crazy. The editor, in my face and in front of that woman and everyone else who was in the room, said that he does not know what I'm talking about. He's never seen that video. he doesn't know like what video are we talking about. He doesn't know. No video was ever brought to him and he was told to edit. And my face like this. Me, I went home. I cried on the matatu on my way home. I just cried. And when I got home after 2 weeks, my heart was so heavy I couldn't go back to work there. So I called the secretary, who was also doubling up as the HR, and told her, I don't think I'll be coming back. You just process my check. Hiyo check ilichukua miaka na mikaka. Kila siku naambiwa excuse. There's a time, the last time I asked for my check, I was told the the CEO and the family have gone for a holiday at the coast, and so she's not unreachable until she comes back. That's when the check will be signed. So I think I was tired and I had given up. So I was thinking, let me go and look for other places, because rent was also due. It was the 20 something and I had not paid rent for that month, but I had a really good landlord. So someday I'm just seated scrolling through my socials. I see a messenger text and I go and read, and it was the salesperson for the company who had inboxed me on Messenger, guys, Messenger, inbox ya Facebook. And she had told me, your check is ready, come and pick it at the office by 2. By the time I was reading that text, it was technically, I think, 12:01. There's no way I'm going to make it to the office by 2. So I call the secretary HR and she tells me, oh, by the way, your check is ready. You can come for, no, we've already closed for Christmas. You do this, you can come in January, ama kesho kama unaweza time editor anakuja kuchukua equipment kwa ofisi. You can time him at around 10. So I went to the office. At around 10, the editor came. He opened the office. I found my check on top of the secretary's desk. The check was supposed to be reading 25,000, but it was reading 16,000. But I was too exhausted at this point. I just needed to pay my rent, which at the time was 10,000 Kenyan shillings. So I went and banked my check and went back home and never went back to that place. So lessons from that place, I don't know. To date, I don't know what I picked from that place. I think it just emphasized that humans are shitty. And that guy, I met him Juicy at the bar next door, and he was just like, Olive, how you doing? I'm just like, you honestly can't be serious. Wow, humans are shitty. Anywho, the place that I went to work. So after that, another friend of mine recommended me for a job. I need to shout this girl out, Sharon Muhambe. Bless your sweet soul. This is but she is such a beautiful soul. So she recommended me for this job and I went there. Now this job from the beginning was a red flag. I was interviewed by a blonde ass chick who didn't know shit about shit. And me, I was just like, maybe this is how interviews are carried out in Nairobi. You know me, I don't know. I'm also young. This is the first time I'm experiencing all these things. And I was the only one who was interviewed, and I guess I got the job. So I report to the place of work, and this place, so the department was formed of new people, but I was the newest. So what I didn't know is that this company was new in Kenya, and what they did is that they went and poached people from their competitor company. So guys, if you're going to poach people, can you please at least do your research? So what happened is that they poached the wrong people. They gave people a 0 to 100 upgrade. So let's see, you think you're going to poach the marketing manager, kumbe you've gone and poached the tea girl, and then now tea girl amepata upgrade from yani ile, 0 to 100, and then it's okay to get an upgrade like that, but sometimes when it doesn't come with sense and logic, it's a bit much. So you can imagine someone who's been upgraded like that. They're arrogant, they're ignorant, they don't want to learn. It was madness. And then it's like these people, these positions ziliwashtua, because we're in marketing, so we are working with what are they called? We're working with a lot of influencers, which are basically celebrities in Kenya. So when celebrities would come to the office, it was a whole thing. There's a time I was literally locked out of the meeting room. I don't know if they thought I was going to steal their street cred. I honestly did not know. So these people were dumb as fuck. and they'd go and screw up things. But since they've been poached, they're not like me who was hired. Since they've been poached, a lot of things were let to slide. So I ended up, me and another guy, so that's when I met Agnes. So me and Agnes would clean up their shit all the damn time. And they were crazy, and they did not like us, and I remember there's someone who went and told my friend, and my friend came and told me that they don't see how I can go to the office in sweats. Like, what am I trying to... Bitch, I work in social media. I literally do not meet anyone when I'm in the office, and when I'm literally at home or in the office or in a matatu. I literally do not meet anyone. Why can't I be comfortable? So they were just very shallow, and I was tired. And then the last straw for me is that now my boss realized that these people were shit and didn't do shit and were costing the company. So instead of my boss being a professional, he calls me to a meeting at 6 p.m. I go in. I was in the office working late, so 6 p.m. is cool. I go into the meeting room, and he tells me he wants me to befriend these hideous characters. He wants me to befriend them and take up their contacts and their networks because he plans to fire them. Can you imagine me being the only person in the company who knows people are going to get fired, and then I'm supposed to take up this character of a very horrible person and pretend to be their friends until I have all the network, so that by the time they're getting fired, the whole marketing department does not go to shit. I couldn't hold on to that. As much as those people were shitty to me, as much as they were just horrible to me, my values are my values, and I cannot compromise with that, and therefore I decided to quit. I decided I cannot do that to anyone, and so I just did not report to work. That's how I quit. It's not the right way to quit, but I just didn't report to work the next day. I'm sorry, but I basically just reflect what I basically reflect what you give me. That was just horrible. Like, I didn't deserve to be like that. I do my work wholeheartedly. I don't honestly deserve to be treated by anyone the way I was treated by those people I was working with in the department, and the boss had no right to put such a burden on me. I do not think so. That was horrible. And also to think that all this time they have been dismissing me, and then now that they've realized you're the one who's working, now it's you who's supposed to take up the whole load. And then he offered to add me a 10K salary. 10K. To take up roles of 3 different people. Ni wazimu nini. Anywho, the next place I worked had given, I don't know what lessons I learned from that company. Let me see. Humans are shitty. The next place I worked. Now here I saw the whole thing about HRs. I have never experienced HRs like that in my life, and this is the place where I experienced HRs in my life. So I got hired in this place, and the place had, like, the company is Chinese. The previous company I was from is also Chinese, where I was working with dumb people. So this new company is also Chinese, but this is different because I was part of the team that it was a very new company setting up in Kenya, and I was the first people in that team. So meaning I'm the one who set up the marketing department and basically developed it into what it was. But me, I got hired directly. Like, I saw an interview that was announced, I applied, I came for the first interview, the second interview, and I got hired. What I didn't know is that I was hired directly by the Chinese bosses. So when I get to the office, I realized there's a HR who was hiring her own people, okay? So this was so bad that in the office, people would speak in their mother tongue. So the entire office is speaking in their mother tongue, and it's just me who does not know that mother tongue. So then it hits me that I'm the only person in this office who does not belong to that ethnic community. But I didn't mind. I don't care. Again, me, I fika the office, I put on earphones, me, I work. There's also a time I was told that we're not supposed to be working with earphones on. which I did not listen to, but anywho. So here I just met a HR who was just crazy. I remember the first day she asked me, what's your third name? And I said, I don't have a third name. My name is Oliver. If you want anything to do with my third name, I think finance has it. They're the ones processing my salary. And then she asked me about my religion. I said, I don't want to say anything about my religion. And then she went out on a frenzy. Also my age. At the time she asked me what my age was, I was 25 at the time, and I told her 25, and she said, 25 and what? Do you think it's 25 cows? 25 what? Months? So how many months more are you more than 25? And I said, I haven't even turned 25 yet. I'm turning 25 in November. So I'm just technically 25. And she was mad. And when she asked about my religion, and I said, I don't feel comfortable answering about that. And she also asked about my tribe. And she said that the Excel sheet that the Chinese people have has all these columns that should be filled. And I was like, I don't think legally you should ask someone about their tribe, their religion, their sexuality. And she went on a frenzy. She's like, oh, so you think you're special? Da, 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 da. I don't know, something. Anyway, at the end of the day, I didn't give her the information, and I guess she was crazy. And that's why I get to learn later, now from my boss, that she actually laid a claim for me to get fired the first day I reported. And the first day the issue was I wasn't told when to report, so I came to the office at 9, and she was like, you need to come to the office at 8:30. It's 8:30, it's not 8:31, it's not 8:29. You need to be in the office by 8:30. So the second day I came in at 8:31, and she shouted across the office, you will have to write an apology letter to your boss, the CEO, and CC me. I was like, okay. So I wrote the letter. Looking back now, I was very, very calm, extremely calm. And I don't know why, because I should have caused a scene anyway. I just said, okay. And I sat down, I wrote a letter. Sorry, I reported at 8:31, sent it to the CEO, my manager. I CC'd her. So my manager calls me, I think at lunchtime, and is like, why did you send an apology letter for coming in at 8:31? I was told by that girl. And that's when my manager and I started bonding. So apparently my manager didn't like her also. She was just too much. And I'm like, then where did you guys get her from? But anyway, there was a whole frenzy, and she got hired. So the people she was hiring, who were her people, are the people she was using to create some sort of she was just fraudulent. So she had even hired finance people, so they were getting really fraudulent and costing the company loads of money. So eventually she got fired, and we got another HR who also came in, and that one was way worse, because now that one wanted to please the bosses. So she was so horrible that she went and asked the bosses, the entry-level guys, why are you paying them this much? You can pay them this much, they'll accept it. So the salaries were drastically reduced. She also tried to get rid of the old people so that they can hire new people who they can pay lower salaries. I think all this time she just thought she's impressing the Chinese bosses, and it was horrible. But for her also, she tried and cleared out the old people. So this person printed out warning letters. It looked like a booklet. And what she'd do is that, now trying to get rid of the old people, she would even hand you 3 warning letters in a day, because that's what's stated in law. You need to get at least 3 warnings before you're fired. You could get handed 3 warning letters in a day. You reported to the toilet, and then you came back late to your station, here is one. I didn't see you at your station at 12, here's another warning letter. So by the end of the day, you get 3 warning letters, and then you're fired. It was some crazy, crazy shit happening. And at that place, I also learned that people are just toothless, because usually Kenyans, I don't think we'll ever have a revolution if you people continue behaving like that, because I was the only one speaking. I was the only one telling the bosses, no, we don't do that like this. No, that is illegal. No, you don't treat humans like that. But then I had no backup. Sometimes I'm in the meeting and I'm telling the boss, no, we can't use this. Biometrics doesn't make sense for this and this reasons. And the boss would be like, Olive, you're just being tough-headed. Everyone else agrees. And everyone else in the meeting actually agrees. They think biometrics is really good. And after the bosses have left, everyone is like, Olive, continue talking. That's good. Continue talking. You tell them. I'm like, if they wanted to get rid of the person who's causing them trouble, they'd literally just fire me. Why what's the point of me talking if there's no backup? Literally, I just look like the troublesome one, and all of you are not doing anything for yourselves. And these people, now let me tell you what was common between all these places. In all these places that I've worked in, I was the youngest at every single point. And this is also a weird thing that happened that I tell people and people don't believe. The HR, now the new HR who was reducing salaries, one day called me and asked me, how come I'm earning more than the men in the office and I'm the youngest? Because in the beginning I was like the only girl and also like the youngest. So they didn't understand why I was earning she didn't understand why I was earning the most. First of all, I'm like, why am I privy to this information? Why do I now know what other people in the office are earning? I wouldn't know. Me, I came for an interview and negotiated for my salary. And now I'm looking at these people who can't speak for themselves. The salary I was earning at that place was kidogo. So I'm thinking, if I'm earning this much and you're earning less than me, what in the fucking hell are you taking care of your wife and children with? Because it didn't make sense to me. Because my salary was kidogo for me. So I was like, yani Wakenya hamwezi jisaidia. Yani you're just stupid. And you've decided to be stupid and not stand up for shit. I was tired of talking all the time. And this place, I was also like, I was also getting, towards the end before I quit, I was also getting threatened because I became the only vocal person in the company. I also started getting threatened. I was like, we'll get an agency to do your job. So I was like, you get an agency to do my job? Me, I don't mind. Sijali, Mimi. So they never got an agency. The day when I put in my resignation letter, the boss took me out for lunch, tried to talk me out of it, tried to add me money, tried to tell the other people in the office to try and talk to me. And I was just like, I literally just made your decision about getting an agency way, way, way easier. Why are you now begging me to stay? And while I was going through the interview processes of trying to replace myself, now they wanted to hire someone. And they wanted to hire someone for half the money that I was being paid. And while I was carrying out the interview processes, I tried my best. I know it's not professional, but I tried my best. So what I did is I went to the waiting lounge and told everyone who'd come for the interview, who'd been shortlisted, please, in the form, there's a form you jazz first before you come into the interview room. I told them in the form, please, all of you, put this amount. None of you should put below this amount, so that all of you are fighting. Whoever gets the job, we know the salary starts from here. Wakenya ni nani? Wakenya ni nani? Mtu anaingia interview room anasema, give me what you can. I am ready, you can offer me anything. Someone was offered 10,000 Kenyan shillings. They quit after 1 week because 10,000 Kenyan shillings in Nairobi is only fair. It's only ni transport yako kutoka kwenye unaishi paka kwa ofisi and back. That's what you use, 10,000 Kenyan shillings. You can't do shit with 10,000 Kenyan shillings. And I'm just thinking, like, Kenyans need to speak up. Kenyans need to fight for themselves. Kenyans need to behave as if they have brains, because I'm honestly tired. And after going all through these places of work, I finally work at a place where I feel appreciated. I am seeing people who are the same age as me. I am happy. I'm doing a job I love. I'm allowed to do the job I have. I don't see people being treated like less humans. And I am happy. When I got this job, I was just like, I wish it upon everyone. I honestly wish you work in a place where people treat each other like humans. People don't throw each other under the bus. People respect each other. The last place I worked, the place where I was telling you they were going to replace me with an agency, that place was so disrespectful to the point that the day when I was leaving, I realized that the boys in the office had taken a bet about who would one day cheapo me. So every time, apparently, we went out to drink after office hours. When you're going, you see the way you go out with your workmates after office. Apparently, they all had a bet on who will cheapo me at the end of the day. Well, that never happened because Tanka hapa alikuwa anawacha kwa club kama hao ndio wanakani kama hawajielewi. So yeah, I guess it was just, it's crazy. I don't know if you can pick anything from all the things I've talked about, but here's the thing. I'm able to now gauge, this is not even all of it. Like, if you get to know me over time, you get to know different experiences in my life. This is just like a summary, and still it's the longest podcast ever. It's like a summary of the things that I've gone through and what has made me wiser. And what I honestly hope to do is that to let people have all these lessons without them going through the same thing that I went through. It is horrible and no one deserves to go through that. And right now, I can gauge whether, just from the place you're going to go for an interview, if I hear you're going for an interview at industrial area, there's something I can tell you about that. If I hear you've been asked to print out your CV or to dress officially for an interview, I know I can derive a few things from that. If I walk into a room for an interview, I can immediately judge the aura and I can tell whether I want to work here or not. So these are things I've picked up over time in experiences. I don't know how I really wish and I really hope to find a way in which I can share this knowledge without you having to experience what I experienced, because all this is wisdom that I've gotten from all those horrible experiences that I've gone through in places of work. But I'm just thinking, if you're ever going for a job interview, if you're ever going to an interview and you're told something, please, you can hit me up on my DMs. I'll be more than happy to pick out some of the things that a normal person normally wouldn't pick up on. So now I'm professional interviewee. I can tell things just by looking at a very general picture of what the interview looks like, the place of work looks like, the person who interviewed you, what they said, what they did not say, how they acted. So just from all those things, I am able to pick out a few things. So I do it for my friends, and if you feel you also just need a little help with something, you let me know. Just let me know. Something else I've noted that is now more recent, I've seen it happen in the recent times. It's not you get hired on the spot, because getting hired on the spot used to make you excited, so you think you're the best. Right now, I've seen employers giving you money that is unimaginable. Like, you ask for 50K and you're offered 200,000. So what you don't know is that when you're signing for 200,000, you're probably signing for a job that never ends. You're signing to be called any time of the day or night. You're waiting to be shouted out and treated as if you're not human. You're also signing to not have your salary reviewed every year like it should. So just be careful about those few things. You call me up. I'll share my experiences with you. If there's anything familiar about your interview or your process of getting hired, I can be able to point at a few things for you. But that was me and how I've become the wise person that I am and professional interviewee. I hope this episode helped with a little bit of something here and there. And until next week, I always love you. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao. In all honesty, bye.